fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. They don't wanna see me care. Anytime I make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down, they wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be.
And now, Mike's thoughts.
Week 1 of the NFL season. Matter of fact, week 1 of football in general is always unpredictable. It's messy, it's sloppy, it's chaotic. You got rookies seeing the real game speed for the first time ever. Veterans shaking off the rust and coaches testing out new schemes. The whole team trying to figure out who they really are. In week 1, it's about survival more than dominance. Penalties pile up, timing feels off, and even the best teams look vulnerable. That's why people say you learn a little bit about a team in week 1, but you don't really know them yet. Then comes week 2. This is where the magic happens. In just 7 short days, the teams grow more than they'll grow at any more point of this season. Why? Because week 1 gives you first real film, the first mistakes to correct, the first real chemistry checked under the lights. By week 2, quarterbacks and receivers are starting to hit those timing routes clean. Offensive lines stop tripping over protections and start moving as one unit. Defense looked lost, suddenly plays faster because they have seen it. They felt it and they've adjusted. Guys, week 2 is about growth, maturity, and identity. It's where pretenders get exposed and contenders start to shine. The 1 week of experience separates a team who are just playing football from the ones who are truly building something. So when you look at week 2, we're just not watching another Sunday slate. We're watching coaches learn, players adjust, which organization actually knows how to take a punch and come back stronger. Week 1 is chaos, week 2 is correction. And that leap, that growth is what makes football great. Welcome to Week NFL 2 football. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw, steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off, get it hype. This man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest, nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Let's go.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckeyes here with the Man Hour guys here at manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise section, check out the blog section, and check out everything that we're doing over there at manhourradio.com. Before you guys hit the like button, be sure to hit the share button. And be sure to hit the subscribe button as well so you never miss a live interactive show, guys. It's the easiest way to stay plugged in with us. If you want the full experience, however, become a Pigskin Pundit. That is our members-only community. Get you some, as Old Man River says. You get free entry to NFL weekly pick'ems, giveaways, exclusive merchandise, and bonus live streams that only the Pigskin Pundits get. So if you're all about that next level access, guys, join the squad. And remember, this is a live interactive show, so comment down below your thoughts, your opinions, and your hottest of the hottest takes, because we all about that conversation, baby. So we got my man Alpha Rob in the chat today. He says, what up, bye? What's up, Alpha Rob? Hope you're having a good old day, brother. Having a good old day. Old Man River says he didn't watch either game. He didn't watch the Lions, or he didn't watch the Ravens take on the Buffalo Bills. He didn't watch the Vikings taking on the Bears, but he voted. He voted over there on the poll, guys. So over there at youtube.com/man, guys, we have a live poll going on right now. Which game was better to watch? Was it the Ravens or the Bills? Or it's not better to watch. Which game was better? Ravens versus Bills or the Bears versus the Vikings? So right now, it looks like we are a clear-cut favorite right now at 100% votes of Ravens versus the Bills was the better game. So I'm just curious to what you guys think about that. And then here we go. Get you some. Here we go. Get you some. Old Man River says Chiefs got exposed. Actually, referees showed up a little. Tied for last place in the West. No, Old Man River. You got that wrong. The Chiefs are not tied for last place in the West. The Chiefs are in last place of the West, right? The Chiefs are clearly in last place. If you guys look down here at the bottom of the screen right there, Chargers first place, Raiders second, Broncos third. Chiefs are in clear last place. The Chiefs are the only AFC West team that lost last week in week 1. So the Chiefs are in last place, Old Man River. So don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. But guys, we will update the rankings and the standings every show. I do not have the schedule updated yet. I did not have time to do that, but we'll do that. Week 2 schedule is out. Week 2 NFL power rankings are out as well. So if you're a part of our Facebook group, head over to facebook.com/manhour NFL Talk, and you get to see the power rankings. And spoiler alert, the Buffalo Bills are still at 1. But we will discuss the power rankings tomorrow on tomorrow's show. But guys, let's go ahead and start off the top of the show here, and let's talk about the Bears versus the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, let's break down the Chicago Bears' fourth quarter collapse against the Minnesota Vikings, right? On Monday Night Football. But let's not get it twisted. My eyes are burning, man. I'm not crying. My eyes are burning. So for nearly 3 quarters, it looked like Ben Johnson era in Chicago was about to kick off with a statement win, right? It looked like things were going to go to the moon, baby. But insert fourth quarter drama. Insert the Chicago Bears 101. Insert every Chicago Bears heartbreak for a long, long time. Because if you go back to it, right, at one point, guys, the Chicago Bears had a 17-6 lead and all the momentum. But then the wheels came off. It wasn't about J.J. McCarthy catching fire. This is about the Chicago Bears getting stagnant. Let's just be honest. The play calling looked creative and aggressive in the first half, and then suddenly it got conservative, predictable all in the fourth quarter. Ben Johnson, as much as an offensive genius he is and was, showed he's still learning what it means to be a head coach in the NFL. And I believe he will get there, but Monday night was a lesson for Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. The turning point, guys, came late in the third quarter. Caleb Williams gets flagged for intentional grounding deep in Vikings territory. Santo misses a 50-yard field goal, and suddenly the door is wide open. From there, the Minnesota Vikings scored 21 unanswered points. Justin Jefferson gets loose for a touchdown. Aaron Jones takes a screen pass to the house, and then McCarthy runs one in for himself. Game, set, match. But here's the thing. This is nothing new for the Chicago Bears, guys. Monday marked the Bears' fourth blown double-digit fourth quarter lead in the past 4 seasons. That's twice as many as any other team in that stretch. For a franchise desperate to shake up the same old Bears label, this is deja vu in the worst way. Defensively, they couldn't adjust. They pressured J.J. McCarthy early and even turned him over for a pick 6. But in crunch time, They gave up chunk plays, got flagged for defensive pass interference, and couldn't get off the field. Offensively, penalties killed the drives. 12 flags for 127 yards. This is how you hand away a win in the NFL. Minnesota Vikings gift wrap, baby. Here you go. Look, guys, Ben Johnson is going to be a good head coach. Do not get it twisted. His offensive mindset is elite, and once he learns how to balance aggressiveness with game management, he'll take the Chicago Bears far. But right now, guys, the Bears show that they don't know how to close out of games. And again, against a division rival week 1, that's a painful reminder how far they still have to go. So, guys, the answer here is simple. The Bears lost because they played not to lose. Their play calling got tight. The mistakes piled up, and the Vikings, led by a rookie, let's just be honest, he's a second-year player, but led by a rookie, making his debut, took advantage. But guys, do you think the Chicago Bears loss was more about bad play calling or J.J. McCarthy just becoming special in the fourth quarter? Comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions. And remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday right here at 9 p.m. East Coast time. I checked that. Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. Alpha Rob says, let's be plain and simple here. Let me be clear. The Bears bared. The Chicago Bears bared, said Alpha Rob. And you were exactly right, man. That is tough. That is tough. Just like the Baltimore Ravens last night or Sunday night. 40 to 25 point lead. Here you go, Buffalo Bills. Take it away. Matter of fact, guys, we spoke on this Monday. Momentum is a powerful thing. That intentional grounding and then the missed field goal shook up the whole NFL game. We had snow globes flying around, and bada bing, bada boom. Here you go. Here you go. They fell short. Play calling. I gotta blame play calling. Sarah, long time no see. Sarah's back in the chat. It says, LMAO, Ben Johnson will be a good coach is laughable. Ooh, Sarah. Woo! Shooting from the hip right out. Sarah, first of all, welcome back to the Man Hour. We have not seen you since last NFL season. Welcome back. But she comes out guns a-blazing. She says Ben Johnson will not be a good head coach. Woo. So, guys, what do you think about that? When you see Sarah's comment here saying that Ben Johnson will not be a good head coach in the NFL, legitimately, what do you think? I think he has a lot of potential. I think the potential is very much there that Ben Johnson could be a great NFL head coach. But she's saying it's laughable. Dang. Put those guns away, Sarah. Damn, girl. Will Olsen says the Vikings will lose to the Falcons on this Sunday. And honestly, would not shock me one bit. Would not shock me one bit because we'll stay tuned for segment number 3. Because I think the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings are both very, very bad teams. Yes, I do have the Minnesota Vikings in my top 10 by default, I feel. They could have gone either way. It could have gone Bengals or Vikings, but I have more faith in the Vikings to do better than the Bengals. But yeah. Ugh. Oh, man, River says special for a minute until next week. What is special for a minute? Ben Johnson? I'm confused by that. Like, what are you referring to? What are we referring to? I'm confused. What a great coach. Dang, Sarah. Let us know how you really feel. Let us know how you really feel because you are shooting from the hips, girl. No F's given over here. And Old Member says he'll be 500 if he's lucky. Old Man River, not to be the bearer of bad news, but not to be that guy. But if Ben Johnson goes 500 in Chicago, he is going to get a statue outside the stadium. Like, that's how bad the Chicago Bears have been. Matter of fact, let's Google Chicago Bears coaches. Winning percentage. Chicago Bears coaches winning percentage. There it is. Because, obviously they've had some good coaches there, right? They've had George Halas or Hollis, how you say it. You've had other players, but So the last coach to be above 500 for the Chicago Bears was Matt Nagy. Wrap your head around that. They fired Matt Nagy. He was above 500. Before that, Lovie Smith was a 500 coach. Mike Ditka, 600 winning coach. And then George, 600 winning percentage coach, right? After George, 300, 200, 400, 400, 400, 400, 400, 200, 300, 200. Not very good. Not very good. Old Member says, who coached him to the Super Bowl? It was Lovie Smith, wasn't it? Lovie Smith coached them to the Super Bowl. They didn't win the Super Bowl, but Lovie Smith did coach them to the Super Bowl. I want to say probably the last Super Bowl champion was Mike Ditka. I'm not for sure. I don't know my Chicago Bears history, as some people might. I know other people know a lot more history about the Chicago Bears than I do. So feel free, guys. If you know who was the last coach to coach the Chicago Bears to a Super Bowl win, let us know. Sarah says, what did he do yesterday when his teammates were unraveling? When his QB was falling apart, nothing. He looked pissed and smug. Caleb sat by himself on the sideline. That's great coaching. No. That is so. Me personally, when a player is upset, so I am a high school coach, right? I know my players, right? I know if said player is over here upset, he just needs some time to himself, right? He needs to collect his thoughts. He needs to understand what he's doing. Now, if other player is over here sitting by himself, he needs a hug, right? Maybe Caleb Williams is the type of player that just needs to be left alone. Collect his thoughts, right? Like, we don't see the cameras the whole time, right? Maybe, just maybe he is that type of player that just, that type of player that just needs time to himself. On the flip side, you don't see Andy Reid going over there talking to Patrick Mahomes every time he is upset. You don't see Sean McDermott going over there and talking to Josh Allen every time he is upset. Like, sometimes people just got to man up. Culture is built in practice and off the field, not during a game. What a great culture! It's just the Chicago Bears do have a long ways to go. Let's just be honest; they got a long ways to go. But hey, they got a tough schedule too, so they're bad. Alfred says he probably didn't want to deal with Williams crying. You guys are tough on him. Tough on him. And a manicurist. Don't dog the man's nails. I get my nails done. I get the cuticles done. A little bit of gel. Whew. Feel like a new man every time that happens. Every time I get gel on my fingers, it makes me feel good. But guys, let's talk about J.J. McCarthy and how he took over the fourth quarter against the Chicago Bears in his very first NFL start. Now, this wasn't McCarthy's first year in the league. Let's not get it twisted. He was drafted back in 2024, but he sat out his rookie season with a torn meniscus. So technically, this is year 2 for him, but we're going to call him a rookie quarterback because it is what it is. But this was also his very first time that he stepped on a field as the guy. And when the lights got the brightest, he showed exactly why the Minnesota Vikings committed to him. For 3 quarters, it didn't look great. Only 48 passing yards in the first half. No third down conversions and a pick six that put Minnesota down 17-6 late in the third quarter. Honestly, he looked like a young quarterback still trying to figure things out. But then the fourth quarter hit, and J.J. McCarthy flipped that switch. He accounted for 3 touchdowns in the final 15 minutes, something no quarterback in NFL history has ever done in his debut start. That's just not good. That's legendary, baby. First, a 13-yard strike to Jefferson to spike the comeback. Then a perfectly executed 27-yard screen pass to Aaron Jones to give the Minnesota Vikings the lead. And to finish it off, J.J. McCarthy took it himself for a 14-yard run with under 3 minutes left. From being down double digits to walking away with Soldier Field with a 27-24 win. What stood out wasn't the production. It was the leadership from J.J. McCarthy. After throwing that interception, a lot of young quarterbacks would have folded. But J.J. McCarthy? Nah. He's on the sideline, walking up and down, talking to his teammates, breaking down plays, and telling them this game is about to pop. That's belief. That's conviction. That's what leaders do. Kevin O'Connell said it. The Vikings don't win that game without J.J. McCarthy. And Justin Jefferson even kept it simple. We knew he had that dog in him. And remember, this wasn't just any debut. This was in Chicago, his hometown, and for the Bears fans who wanted nothing more to watch him fail. Instead, he quieted the crowd and announced that he is here to stay. He is the new owner of the Chicago Bears. Guys, J.J. McCarthy's fourth quarter wasn't just a good start to his NFL career as a starter. It was a kind of momentum that can define a franchise and define a season. If this isn't what looks like in a start number one, imagine what year 2 or year 3 of his career as a starter could bring. But guys, let me ask you this question down in the comments below. Do you guys think J.J. McCarthy proved he is a real deal in the fourth quarter? Or do you need to see more to buy into the guy? Comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts and see what you think. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, guys. And remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here at youtube.com/Man Hour. Alpha Rob, the man, the myth, the legend. He says Vikings made the right decision after watching Aaron Donald. That is tough, baby. That is tough, tough, tough. Because let's just be honest. Aaron Donald did not play great, right? Aaron Donald went through ups and downs, but J.J. McCarthy, he went through ups and downs as well. Only 15 minutes, he played great. Sorry about that, guys. Trying to be polite and get my nose all clean, but not working. My fault. Let's get back here to the main shot here. Let's go sports in the chat. What's up? Let's go sports. He said J.J. McCarthy looked good. Still not sold on it because it's the Bears. Still don't really know what to think of his performance. Let's go sports. You are 100% correct. 100% correct. Just like how people are ranting and raving about Aaron Rodgers' performance against the New York Jets. He did it against the Jets. Let's just be honest. Did it against the Jets. Now, in J.J. McCarthy's defense, the Chicago Bears were playing lights out on defense. Let's just be honest. They're playing pretty damn good. But they were without 3 of their top defenders. Jalen Johnson was out. A linebacker was out. I forget his name. And a defensive lineman was out as well. So, yes, I'm not buying anything about J.J. McCarthy yet until week 2. Just like the opening rant, the biggest growth of any team, also any player, is from week 1 to week 2. We now have film on them. Falcons are sneakily pretty good, like Will pointed out. Falcons will sneak up on some teams. They're not going to make a deep playoff run, but they're going to sneak up on some teams. And honestly, I don't think the Minnesota Vikings are that great. And Old Man Rivers says it perfectly. A blind duck finds water sometimes. Bro clock is right twice a day. Even I can hit a broadside to the barn every now and then. It's like throwing a ball into the ocean. Yeah, all those cliches, right? But at the same time, 3 touchdowns in 15 minutes is pretty nice. I'm just saying. Well, it says, I thought the Bears were supposed to have a good defense this season. They are supposed to have a good defense. And honestly, the Bears defense played great football for 3 quarters. 1, 2, 3 quarters, they played great without Jalen Johnson out there. The premier quarterback in the entire NFL. His backup right was a practice squad player last year. He got hurt in the 3rd quarter, I do believe. It was a non-contact injury. I didn't officially see what the diagnostics was, but I don't think I saw him for the rest of the game. He was locking down JJ. He was on the Vikings practice squad last year, battled Justin Jefferson every day in practice, finally got to do it on Monday Night Football primetime, and he was locking down Justin Jefferson. Let's just be honest. He was locking him down. Once he went down, the Bears defense went down. Coincidence? Potentially. But at the same time, that kid had a pick 6, locking down Justin Jefferson, playing against his former practice squad team. That was nice. Sarah says, this kid has moxie. Caleb folded. He didn't. So, Sarah, I agree with you. J.J. McCarthy is a proven winner. Matter of fact, I think I saw a stat somewhere where he's lost 3 games total since middle school. As a starter, 8th grade year, being 13 years old, whatever you are in 8th grade, 14 maybe, he's lost 3 games. He's 22 years old. So roughly 10, 11 years worth of football, probably 8 years as a starter, lost 3 games. He obviously knows how to win. He obviously knows how to be successful. He knows what it takes to be successful. Now, on the flip side, Caleb Williams, he definitely got a little shell-shocked, I think, right? Matter of fact, I tweeted out over here at Facebook.com or Facebooked out or whatever. I made a statement. I made a status post. Say, damn, Caleb Williams looks pretty damn good. Will dogged me on it. Other people dogged me on it. But this was in the first quarter when Caleb Williams was taking command of the team, command of the huddle. I paused it, come in man hour, went back and watched it. Caleb Williams commanded it until the middle of the third quarter. Then the play calling got a little conservative. A little bit of conservative. Let's just be honest. But yes, Caleb Williams did ultimately fold. Right? Did ultimately fold. You are correct. Let's Go Sports says, hey, now. Aaron Rodgers plays great. No, in all honesty, I understand it is a Jets. So you can take 2 TDs from Aaron Rodgers' performance, but still a Steelers fan. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. He says, I love my Steelers. I love my Steelers. And yes, Let's Go Sports. And I know you like your Steelers, and that's why I kind of threw shade without Aaron Rodgers without throwing shades at like Aaron Rodgers, right? We spoke on him a little bit on Monday, just briefly touched, right? We asked if the MVP Aaron Rodgers was back. People were like, no. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down, Buck. But listen, Aaron Rodgers played a great game. I don't know the stat lines by any stretch of the imagination off the top of my head, but he led the Steelers to a victory over his former team. As a matter of fact, the biggest thing is the Steelers broke 30 points in the first time in 27 years, it seems like. Have the Steelers ever broke 20 points, but then they go into 30 points? That's tough. Right? And Aaron Rodgers was the direct contributor of scoring those 34 points, right? 34-32 was like the final, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, Aaron Rodgers did play great. You have a right to feel impressed. As a Steelers fan, look, let your homerness out, baby. Let it go. Aaron Rodgers, we love you, baby. We love some Aaron Rodgers. I get it, right? But hey, it is what it is. Sarah, remind me who your team is again. I think I forgot. But let's go ahead and move on, guys, and let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears as a whole. Because as exciting as that Monday night game was, and right now we have a 50-50 poll competition going on of which game was better, the Ravens versus the Bills or the Bears versus Vikings. Guys, vote in the votes on the YouTube page here. Guys, I don't see neither of these teams finishing with a winning record in 2025. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. I don't see the Vikings or the Chicago Bears winning 9 games this season. Yes, J.J. McCarthy had an incredible 4th quarter. Yes, the Chicago Bears looked strong for 3 quarters, but that is the problem. Neither of these teams played a full 4 quarters consistently. And if you can't do that in the NFL, especially with the schedule that they're about to face, let's just be honest, they have some of the toughest schedules in the NFL, you are not going to be competitive over the 17-game season. Let's start with the Minnesota Vikings, right? Yes, J.J. McCarthy's debut was special, no doubt about it, but you cannot rely on medical 4th quarters each and every week. Through 3 quarters, that offense had 80 yards and 4 first downs. 80 yards and 4 first downs with arguably the best receiver in the NFL. Arguably a top 5, number 2, number 3 receiver in the NFL, and Adam Thielen. Arguably a top 10 running back in Aaron Jones. Arguably one of the pretty damn good defenses in the NFL. I love me some Van Ginkel. I love him. But damn, you can't live in the NFL like that. Kevin O'Connell knows They're building a run game to help him out, and Jordan Mason may have some juice in the second half, but the formula doesn't work against top defenses on their schedule. And trust me, the NFC is loaded with them, with the Packers, with the Lions, Eagles, 49ers, and the Cowboys. And then the Chicago Bears, Ben Johnson showed flashes of being a creative play caller, but then the pressure hit in the fourth quarter, and the offense got stagnant. Caleb Williams looked sharp early, but once the Vikings defense adjusted, he looked like a rookie again. And this isn't new for Chicago. You guys remember what I just said? Monday was their fourth blown double-digit fourth quarter lead in the last 4 seasons. That is not a fluke. That is who they are. Add in 12 penalties for 127 yards is exactly what your team gets. It isn't ready to compete. Both of these teams have brutal schedules in 2025. They're not going to get a feast on each other every week. And the truth is, if you can't put together 4 quarters for a consistent football, you're going to get exposed real quick in this league. So, guys, this game was fun to watch. It was entertaining. It was historic for J.J. McCarthy. It was historic for the Chicago Bears. But this doesn't change the reality. The Bears and Vikings aren't good enough to string wins together against top teams in the NFL. I see both of these teams finish with losing records this season. But do you guys think the Chicago Bears or the Minnesota Vikings can surprise people and fight for a playoff spot? Or are they both heading to losing seasons, like I believe? Comment down below. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from you guys. And Old Member says both of them are going to get 9 wins, Buck. He says, hey, the Bears might be in 4th place. The Vikings might be in 3rd place. But damn it, they're all going to make the playoffs, and they're all going to get 9 wins. And I say, slow it down, baby. Slow it down. There is no way on this earth that they're getting 9 wins. Both of them, at least. I can see one of them, but not both of them. Let's Go Sports says the Bills versus Ravens is definitely the better game. Not saying the other game wasn't good, but not as good as the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens. I think you're correct. And Sarah says, you guys really think the Lions are going to be a playoff team? Sarah, week 2 is coming. Once week 2 hits, going into week 3, then we'll see who the Detroit Lions really are. I think the Detroit Lions are not terrible, but they're not dominant either. You know, adjusting my thoughts a little bit, I think the NFC North as a whole, the whole division, a little bit overrated. A little bit overrated. So the kid ain't going to get better whatsoever. Meaning J.J. McCarthy? No, I think J.J. McCarthy will get better. I think the Minnesota Vikings will get better throughout the season, but not up to the standards that it is going to take to be a competitive winning team this season. Not because they're not going to get better, but look at their schedule. Let's just be honest. When you look at the Minnesota Vikings, look at their schedule. Next week, Sunday Night Football, another primetime game versus the Atlanta Falcons. Next week, versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Say what you want about the Bengals, but I think the Bengals are much improved this season. And then you play the Pittsburgh Steelers. That game is over the pond in London, I do believe. And then they come back. Actually, they stay back over there, right? And then they play the Cleveland Browns. Overseas games are just hit or miss. You never know what you're going to get. But then you play the Eagles, Chargers, Lions, Ravens, Bears, Packers. Commanders, Cowboys, Lions, Packers. When you look at the schedule, past the overseas games, Eagles, Chargers, Lions, Ravens. Those 4 games right there, potentially 4 losses in a row, because you're at LA, you're at Detroit. Then you play at Green Bay, the Commanders at Dallas, and the Lions and the Packers to end the season. That is tough. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to be they are going to be a better team than what the record shows, but they're not going to have a winning season. Same with the Chicago Bears. Their schedule's not very easy as well. Will Olson says both teams will have 7 or 8 games, 8 wins at most. And that's probably right where I have them as well. 6, 7, 8 win range there, right? Obviously, 6 to 8 wins is a wide range. When you see 6 wins, you're like, man, this team sucks. But when you see 8 wins, like, they're right there on the cusp, right? I think both teams are right there on the cusp. And then 2026, I think they finally get over that hump. And Sarah said, that's just crazy talk, Buck. That's crazy talk, she says. Sarah, slow it down. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying the facts are facts. Their schedule is tough. The only potential gimme wins that I see for the Vikings this season is potentially the Cleveland Browns. And that game is overseas. That's going to be tough. You're going to have no cakewalk versus the Packers, no cakewalk versus the Giants or the Cowboys. They just got a tough slate of games. It is tough. Well, the Lions were so considered scoring all 4 quarters on Sunday. We dogged the Lions on Monday. So I'm just saying. Let's Go Sports says maybe one of the two teams, Vikings and Bears, will make the playoffs, but don't expect much from either of them this year. Pretty much a rookie quarterback, at least physical, and rookie head coach. Let's Go Sports. I agree with you on this. One of them could potentially get hot and make a playoff push. If anything, it would probably be the Chicago Bears. Because the bullseyes are on the Minnesota Vikings, right? 14-3 last season. And Vikings fans still hate me for saying that they're going to be a 1-and-done in the playoffs. And I let them know that I was right about that. So I probably should back off the Vikings fans just a little bit, right? Chase is in the chat. What's up, Chase? He says, I agree. The hardest part of this year for us, the Vikings, is the season. We're screwed once we'll get back to the States. Yes, it's a tough. It's just what it is, right? Unfortunately, the NFC North as a whole got a plethora of tough games. You play the AFC North, arguably one of the best divisions in football. You play the NFC East, one of the most underrated divisions in football. Arguably the worst team in that division is the Dallas Cowboys, and they could win the Super Bowl. The Giants are good. The Commanders are good. The Eagles are great. It sucks. It sucks if you're an NFC North team this year. Natty for life. They said the same thing about the Vikings last year, 14 wins. As you are correct about this, Natty for life. Is that natty like natty light or natty like you don't do steroids? I'm just curious. Everybody and their dog last year said the Vikings were rebuilding, right? It was a rebuilding or like a retool year, right? Not necessarily rebuild, but retool. I had many Vikings people on our show. Oh, 6 wins, 5 wins. We'll be lucky to get 7, whatever. But then shit started clicking, right? Boom, 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 boom. As you are correct, that everybody had them wrong last season. Me included. I think I've had them at 5 wins last season, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe even 4. With that being said, they did have an easier schedule last year. When you look at their schedule last year, was a little bit easier. When you play teams like the New York Jets, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Titans, the Cardinals from last season were not very good. The Falcons were not very good last season. The Chicago Bears, right? The New York Giants. Those are all very, very winnable, easy games. When you played a team that was above 500, you struggled. Let's just be honest. When you played the Green Bay Packers back in week 4, yes, you can say they dominated for 3 quarters, but not the 4th quarter. Jordan Love came back. You got beat by the Detroit Lions, beat by the Rams, beat by the Detroit Lions when it mattered the most in week 18. Other than that, the Seahawks weren't above 500. The Bears weren't above 500. The Falcons weren't above 500. The Cardinals weren't above 500. Titans, Jaguars, Colts, not all above 500. Giants weren't above 500. Jets weren't above 500. You had a very easier schedule last season. This year would be a true proving ground. We'll see. Let's Go Sports says it's going to be hard for a rookie quarterback in his first game overseas with that time change and just new places versus the Steelers. Very good defense and mostly Steelers crowd in Ireland. So they're playing in Ireland the first week. Okay. But yeah, you are correct. Matter of fact, it's hard for anybody to go overseas. I don't care if you're a seasoned veteran or not. I don't care if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars that play there every year. It's tough going. What's it, 8-hour time change? 9-hour, something like that. It's stupid. I hate it. I hate it. Sarah says, I'm talking about the Bengals are being a good team. That's just crazy talk. We'll see. We'll see. The Bengals got their first week 1 win since 2020 or 2019, whatever it was. Last time they did that, they went to the Super Bowl. Hey, I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. We will see. It says, dude, you're tripping. Dang, Sarah. Giants are good. Boy, you tripping. The Giants are sneakily good, Laura, or Sarah. Because when you look at the New York Football Giants, we are, I believe it's on Overreaction. We're going to talk about Jaxson Dart. Russell Wilson is not the man, the myth, the legend that he once was. He needs to be a game manager, and Brian Daboll needs to understand that he is a game manager. At the same time, that Giants defense has an opportunity to be a top 10 defense in the NFL. If they figure out their front seven, how they're going to adjust it, right? Because they got Thibodeau, they got Brian Burns, and they drafted Abdul Carter, right? If they can figure out where to put those three guys on the front four, maybe even a linebacker I guess, and be effective, the Giants have an opportunity to be a great defense. Because last year, I think they were ranked 13th or 12th on defense. And they got better. Once Jaxson Dart comes in, the Giants are going to go like this quick. People are going to be jumping on the Giants bandwagon quick. But right now, their offense is not going to be great because they've still got Russ. But once Jaxson Dart comes, look out, baby. Look out, boy. They scored 6 points. They did. The offense is not great for the Giants. I'm not trying to get it twisted. But at the same time, they held the Commanders to 20 points? 21 points? The Commanders last year that averaged 30 points a game last year. And Jason says, yeah, I don't know about the Giants and the Cowboys being good. The Cowboys just went toe-to-toe with the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football without arguably the best pass rusher in the NFL. Cowboys are better. The Giants are even more better. Don't be sleeping on them, guys. Now, I'm not saying they're Super Bowl caliber teams. I was talking on my butt a little bit with the Cowboys. But if the Giants, they get hot, they got a 4th place schedule, they can rattle off 9 wins throughout the season. They can make a playoffs and they could upset some people. Remember, every time the Giants make the Super Bowl, make the playoffs, they go to the Super Bowl. It's it seems like. Will said the Vikings had an easier schedule last season. I could honestly see them going 9-8 this season at best. I agree, Will. The Vikings had a very favorable schedule last season. Who is Mr. Unlimited? Oh, help me out. I'm not for sure who Mr. Unlimited is. Is that Russell Wilson? Is that Jaxson Dart? I'm curious. And it's Russell Wilson's Mr. Unlimited. Okay, I didn't know that was his nickname. That's cool. Will says the Giants have an elite talent and could be a great team. The key word is they're potentially, right? The Giants are nowhere close to being a great team yet. Let's not get that twisted. Let's not put those words into anybody's mouth right now, but they have the potential, like Will said, great word there, Will. They have the potential to be a great team. I agree. Agree with that 100%. But guys, let's move on to the man that they call Mr. Tyreek Hill. Guys, Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins, I feel, have finally reached a breaking point. According to new court filings from his estranged wife, Tyreek Hill is being accused of 8 separate instances of domestic violence. Now, obviously, he has denied the allegations, and his lawyer has already called it a shakedown, saying it's about generating bad media coverage. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're Tyreek Hill. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a practice squad guy or a future Hall of Famer. Guys, the NFL has set a standard about this. They've set this precedence about this. The moment accusations like this hit the public, suspensions follow, and games will be missed. Look back, time and time again, when a player is even accused of something like this, the NFL steps in before the full legal process even plays out. Hell, before the detectives even interview him. And that's where we're at with Tyreek Hill. He hasn't been charged criminally yet, but the precautions matter in this league. And at this point, guys, the Dolphins have to make a decision. Do they keep trying themselves to a player with off-field headlines after another, or do they finally cut the bait? Guys, remember, this is not the first time Tyreek Hill has been surrounded by controversy. In the past 2 seasons alone, he has been detained for reckless driving hours before the Miami Dolphins season opener last season. He got into a physical altercation with a marina employee back in June of 2023. And there's even a lawsuit that he broke a woman's leg for practicing with her in the backyard for her son's team. And now, on top of all that, you got divorce filings, alleged multiple domestic violence incidents. Guys, this is a pattern. The Dolphins gave Tyreek Hill a 3-year, $90 million contract, and while his talent is on the field is undeniable, at some point, enough is enough. The NFL is bigger than one player, and the Dolphins' future can't hang on whether or not with Hills stays out of trouble. Guys, even if you believe Tyreek Hill deserves his day in court, the NFL has shown us where this is heading. He's going to miss games. The distraction is going to grow, and the Dolphins should just rip off the Band-Aid now. Cut ties and move on. Build around players you can depend on both on and off the field. But what do you guys think? Should the Dolphins cut Tyreek Hill today, trade him, or should they just wait and see how this investigation plays out? Comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. Remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. So comment down below. Let's Go Sports says, heard the Steelers trade rumors yesterday. He would be a good addition, not in his prime, but not trying to deal with him and his troubles. That's all Tyreek Hill has been the last 2 seasons. Has been a headache and has been troubles. Think about it. Was it last year, last game of the season? The Buffalo Bills, I believe it was the Buffalo Bills last game of the season. They got train wrecked. The Buffalo Bills waxed that ass. The Buffalo Bills weren't playing for shit. It was against the Jets. I don't remember who it was. Last game of the season, Tyreek Hill was like, I want out of this place. Tua sucks. Miami sucks. I want out of here. He quickly backtracked to like 2 days later or whatever it was, but it was out there. He said, Tua sucks. He said, this sucks. I want out. And now you're doing this. Not only are you getting a divorce because you have like 12 kids by 11 different baby mamas while being married to your wife. That's tough. While his wife was pregnant with their kid, he had 3 other babies with 3 other women at the same time. Clearly not a faithful man. Now you got domestic violence, off the field issues, already ranting and raving about you want out, this. Get him out of town. And Alpha Rap says trade him. Trade him for pennies on the dollar like at this point. Miami Dolphins need to save face. Do something. And you're right. They need to do something. Let's Go Sports says the Dolphins are going down. Lost to Daniel Jones and the Colts by a lot, and they look terrible. McDaniel will be fired mid-season, and they'll have to clear house slash rebuild, so trade Tyreek. Not wrong. As I do agree with you on this, guys, I think Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins need to part ways. I think they need to cut ties. But the real question is, will or should a NFL team take a chance on him? Guys, look, the allegations against Tyreek Hill are serious. 8 separate incidents of domestic violence are being alleged in the divorce filings. Yes, he has denied them. You are always going to deny him. You're like, oh, yeah, I hit that bitch. Like, come on. His lawyer said it's a shakedown. But the reality is the NFL has set a standard. Even with the accusations, they lead to suspensions. Hill is going to miss a few games. It's almost a guarantee. Matter of fact, if he doesn't, I'm going to be pissed off that he doesn't. So, guys, if Miami Dolphins decides enough is enough, does he get another shot? And the answer is sadly, yes, he will get another shot. It doesn't matter who you are. If you can play, you got a spot on somebody's team in the NFL. Some teams will look at Tyreek Hill, the player, and convince themselves that talent outweighs the baggage. We've seen this story play out before in the NFL way too many times. Greg Hardy and the Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers. But here's the thing. It just cannot be any team. Hill's personality, his off-the-field history, and the consistent spotlight he brings means the only teams that could even attempt this are the ones with the strong, established leadership in the locker room that doesn't need him to succeed. Meaning their team is already set. It would just be nice to have him. A team like the Kansas City Chiefs, where Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and that culture already know Hill and wouldn't let him run wild. A team like the Buffalo Bills, with Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, keeping the standard high. A team like the Philadelphia Eagles, a locker room built on veteran leadership in front office that takes big swings, but doesn't take no bullshit either. A team like the Baltimore Ravens, John Harbaugh does run one of the tightest ships in the NFL. And maybe even the Detroit Lions, with Dan Campbell building a culture strong enough to keep Eagles in check. These are the type of places where if Hill gets another shot, could actually work. But if he lands on a team that's desperate, a team that wants to save, that's going to need him to save the franchise, it is a disaster waiting to happen, a.k.a. Los Angeles Chargers. So, guys, yes. The answer is yes. Another team will take a chance or trade for Tyreek Hill if the Miami Dolphins decide to ultimately move on from him. That's how the NFL works. But the only way it makes sense is if he's considered with a rock-solid culture. A team that doesn't need him but knows what he could bring to them on the field. Otherwise, it's not the chaos. So, guys, if the Dolphins cut Tyreek Hill, do you think an NFL team should give him another shot? And if so, which team could actually be his best fit? Comment down below. Alpha Rob says, but he's only wide receiver that makes Tua looks good. That's tough. That is tough and very, very factual. Although, I wish Waddle got some more touches, right? Because I think Waddle has an opportunity to really have a breakout season. Let's go. Sports says Tua is always injured, not convinced he's that good. I think he's a good dude and loved watching him in college, but I also really want him to retire because of the concussions. One more, and he's ruined. We're going to be talking about that in a second, so hold that thought. Let's go, sports. Will Olsen says, yes, the Dolphins should trade him before the deadline this season, even for draft picks. So, Will, what team should make that trade for him? Is it a team, like I mentioned, Lions, Eagles, Ravens, Bills, Chiefs? Or do you think another team that's outside looking in, maybe a surprise contender could come up there and swoop it in? Denver Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. He would fit well in Raiderland right there, Old Man River. He would fit great in Raiderland. But I'm curious, where do you guys think he should land? But guys, it is time for Overreaction Tuesday. So, guys, is it an overreaction to say that the Miami Dolphins are the worst team in the NFL? That they'll be drafting first overall in the 2026 NFL draft? Is it an overreaction, guys? Let's jump into it. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to be real with you. Guys, the Dolphins aren't just bad. They are awful. After that 33-8 beatdown from the Indianapolis Colts, you can make a case that they're the worst team in the NFL right now. Daniel Jones had them looking like a college defense. It was 30-0 before the Miami even got on the scoreboard. That's embarrassing for a team that's supposed to turn the corner. A team that's supposed to be a top offense in the NFL. A team that's supposed to be averaging 45 points a game. Tua was a disaster. 14 completions. 14 completions for 114 yards, 2 interceptions, and a lost fumble. That is not a starting quarterback material in the NFL. Matter of fact, that's not even a backup quarterback material in the NFL. It's the bottom of the barrel production. Even if Tua improves, and even if the offense plays 100% better than we just saw, I still think this team is bad enough to land the first overall pick. They are far from behind right now. They are that far behind right now. They're bad. And defensively, forget about it. Injuries in the secondary have gutted them when Storm Duck went down and turned into a season opener. Daniel Jones completed 22 of 29, 272 yards, and had 2 rushing touchdowns. Daniel Jones looked like prime Cam Newton against this defense. This is how low Miami Dolphins have fallen. Now, people will say, oh, Buck, it's week 1. They might bounce back. But I'm not buying it. This is just not a week 1 hiccup. This is who the Dolphins are right now. Undisciplined, poorly executed, soft on defense, and a quarterback who looks like completely broken. And a team that doesn't respect their head coach. So, guys, is it an overreaction to say that the Miami Dolphins will have the first overall pick in 2026? No. I'm not saying now. I'm not saying right now. In fact, I'll take it one step further. Even if Miami Dolphins plays twice as good as they did on Sunday, they still look like the worst team in football and still are heading into the number 1 overall pick. They're that bad. But, guys, do you agree? Are the Miami Dolphins the worst team in the NFL right now, or do you think there's another team that's even worse in their spot? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Will Olsen says, yes, Buck, it is an overreaction. He says, Buck, you're talking crazy. You're talking out your butt again, Buck. So, Will, who is worse? Who is worse than the Miami Dolphins right now? Because we have all spoke very, very highly of the Arizona Cardinals. We think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be a playoff-bound team. The Saints battled them. The Tennessee Titans could be one of the worst teams in the NFL, right? But they just went into Mile High Stadium with a rookie quarterback, with a very, very lackluster team, and they battled a potential playoff team in the Denver Broncos. Matter of fact, it took a miracle for the Denver Broncos and the Titans gift-wrapping them that win. So I get it. But Alpha Rob says, is Tennessee or Miami tied for the worst team? If the Miami Dolphins and Tennessee Titans played head-to-head right now, the Titans would win that game 9 out of 10 times. Titans are not that bad. Now, they do have a lot of room to grow, let's just be honest. If the receivers could catch the damn ball, Cam Ward probably would have won that game. But hey, scoreboard says they lost, right? And Will Olsen says the Panthers are the worst team right now. Yes. Panthers are very, 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 very bad. Bryce Young is just not an NFL quarterback. I hate to say it, but he's just not it. The Bryce Young project in Carolina is done. The Panthers might be worse than the Miami Dolphins right now. Yes, you are correct. However, we saw last year the Panthers could gather some wins up at the end of the year and not look so terrible and probably blow the first overall pick. But we will see. Let's Go Sports says the Saints might be the only team worse than the Dolphins. So that's really I don't think it's an overreaction. It is an overreaction. The Saints are not good, right? But they did battle the pretty good Arizona Cardinals team. First game jitters maybe for Kyler Murray, and I don't know. Like we'll have to go back and really watch that game or watch week 2 and see. I don't know, but we'll see. So we're thinking teams that are bad right now: Saints, Titans, Panthers, and the Miami Dolphins. So we think those 4 teams potentially could be battling for the number 1 overall pick. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a poll up on the Facebook page right after this live show and see what you guys think. Let's go sports, but I really do think Spencer Rattler has potential and can make the Saints a good football team. I'm so confused with Spencer Rattler. Like, I am legitimately confused about Spencer Rattler because he reminds me of Will Levis with the Titans last season. Will Levis had spectacular moments. Oh, okay, Will, we see you. But then he does a Superman interception pick 6 to the Green Bay Packers to lose the game. Spencer Rattler has little flashes of like, okay, I see why you went to like 4 different Division One schools. Like, okay, I see you. But then you see him, he's 0-7, 0-8 as a starter now. I don't think he's had a 200-yard passing game yet. I'm not sold on Spencer, unfortunately. Alpha Rob says, is Tua the worst quarterback in the league and is the least limited? The most limited. Tua is pretty bad. Tua is pretty bad. And remember, just a couple years ago, Tyreek Hill saying he was the most accurate passer in the NFL. Better than Patrick Mahomes he's ever seen, right? Let's Go Sports says, yeah, the Panthers are pretty terrible. Yeah, they are pretty bad. And we cannot forget about the Cleveland Clowns, says Let's Go Sports. Yeah, that's just your AFC North rivalry talking. Yeah, but sorry, James, but your Browns are pretty bad. Browns are pretty bad as well. But guys, overreaction number 2 for the day. Is it an overreaction to say that Jaxson Dart will be QB1 by October 1st for the New York Football Giants? Oof. Guys, the Giants offense flat out looked ugly against the Commanders. I watched that game from start to finish, and it was painful. They lost 21-6. Russell Wilson looked washed up. He was pressured on 16 out of 45 dropbacks, which is 36%, and when that pressure came, he crumbled. 2 for 12, 26 yards, 2 sacks. Even when he had time, he wasn't much better. He finished with 17 for 37, 168 yards passing, no touchdowns, and just 231 yards of total offense. 4 yards per pass attempt, 3 yards per rush attempt. The only positive is they didn't turn the ball over, but they still lost by 15. So naturally, fans are already chanting for Jaxson Dart, the first-round rookie quarterback. He looked great this preseason. He's got the legs, he's got the juice, and after what we saw, I get why people are calling for him. But here's why I think is an overreaction to say Dart will be started by the end of September. Guys, simply look at the Giants' schedule. Next few weeks, they play the Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers in the next 3 weeks. That's brutal. Division, the best team in football, and one of the best teams in football. Cowboys, Chiefs, and Chargers. Then week 5, they do play the Saints on the road, which we all just said the Saints are a very, very bad team. And if Jaxson Dart is going to start early, this is the first realistic spot. Beyond that, maybe November against the Chicago Bears. But to throw him out there versus the Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs, or even the LA Chargers, that's asking for a rookie to fail before he's even had a chance to develop. Brian Daboll knows this. He does not want Jaxson Dart rushed into the fire. He doesn't want him feeling the pressure of saving the franchise 3 weeks into the NFL season. This is why Russell Wilson is starting. This is why they have Jameis Winston as well. Now, yes, Jaxson Dart is listed as QB2 against Washington and the Giants. And the Giants even built some practices for him, but that's a far cry from handing him the keys in September. Guys, Jaxson Dart will eventually be a starter in New York. That much is clear. But by the end of this month, that is way too soon. This isn't about whether he's talented enough. That's not whether this, it is about whether you want to risk breaking your rookie before he even knows how to grow. So, guys, is it an overreaction to say that Jaxson Dart will be a Giant starter by the end of September? I'm saying yes. The schedule is too tough. The situation is too violent. And Brian Daboll is too smart to put his rookie into that spot right now. If it does happen, it'll be week 5 against the Saints or later in November when they play the Chicago Bears. But, guys, do you think the Giants should throw Jaxson Dart in there now and let him take his lumps or wait until the schedule softens up? Comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. Remember, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here at youtube.com. Now, this is a live interactive show, so drop your thoughts in the comments down below. Let's get into the comments and discuss them. Let's Go Sports says, sitting behind Wilson for a year can't hurt. Won't be any better with Dart. Don't waste your first-round pick you traded up for. Exact same situation with Pickett, with Kenny Pickett. Got rushed into game 4, and he sucked. I agree. But on the flip side, Alpha Rob, correct me if I am wrong. Didn't Josh Allen get thrown in the fire too with the Buffalo Bills when who was their quarterback? The Buffalo Bills quarterback when Josh Allen was a rookie. He went down week 2 or week 3, injured. Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator or quarterback coach or something like that. Insert Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen and Jaxson Dart are 2 different totally quarterbacks. Like, let's not get it twisted. But he has done it before. Let's Go Sports says, same situation with bad coaching. Not Mike Tomlin, but Matt Canada. Brian Daboll and other Giants coaches suck, but instead of Trubisky, you have a better, smarter quarterback with Wilson to learn behind from. That is true. And then Alpha Rob does say late October, early November. I said this back in June and July. Matter of fact, I think it was a fact or crap. I said, wait till after the bye week, then put him in there, right? Wait till after the bye week, then put him in there. James Holgren, what's up, James? He says, Giants still have an offensive line problem. Any quarterback will struggle. You are correct. However, when Russell Wilson had time, he still struggled. Russell Wilson should have never got a deal. But I understand why the Giants did it. They needed that insurance. They needed that Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes type of situation, and that's what they're hoping for. Hoping for an Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love type of situation. That's what they're hoping for. And Alpha Rob says, yes, Josh Allen did start week 2. Peterman was trash and threw 5 picks. That was Nathan Peterman. Yes, that's right. Will Olsen said Pickett did look impressive in some games. He did when he had time and was able to roll the pocket. I don't think Mike Tomlin ever wanted Kenny Pickett. He got pressured. Pressured to draft Kenny Pickett. Hometown kid. Maybe we need a quarterback. He's supposed to be the franchise. It was kind of like awesome if he succeeds, but if he doesn't, I didn't really want him anyways, right? Didn't really want him anyways. But guys, overreaction number 3. It is Overreaction Tuesday, and this statement is coming out of the woodworks right now. Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lambeau Field, Packers Nation, Sheheads America, right? The Green Bay Packers will win the NFC Championship. Guys, this is an overreaction or not? Let's talk about it. Let's flash back to week 1. The Green Bay Packers came out week 1, guys, and made a statement. They dominated the defending NFC North champions, the Detroit Lions, 27-13. Without that impressive catch, it should have been 27-6. That's just not a win, guys. That is a tone setter. The defense swallowed up Detroit, holding them just to 246 total yards and 1 late touchdown. Green Bay looked faster, stronger, and more physical than the Detroit Lions in every phase of the game. Defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley in his second season, and you can see the difference in year 2, and the system usually brings growth. This defense already looks like one of the best in the NFC. And on offense, Jordan Love was efficient. 3 different players scored touchdowns, and Micah Parsons, now in Green Bay, made his presence felt even on limited snaps. That is how you win big games. Balanced offense, suffocating defense, and star power in the right spots. But now, here's why this is not a crazy overreaction. Guys, the Packers were right on the edge of greatness last season. They had the youngest roster in the league, and they went 11-1 against teams outside the NFC elite. The problem is they went 0-6 against the Lions, Vikings, and Eagles. They couldn't beat the big boys. Week 1 against Detroit, the streak has been broken. And it's just not broken, it got shattered. The Green Bay Packers didn't sneak by, they dominated. This roster is deep, a confident quarterback, and 2 highly skilled play callers in Matt LaFleur and Jeff Hantley. That is a recipe you need to win the NFC. So guys, is it an overreaction to say the Green Bay Packers will be NFC champions? No. I'm not saying it's an overreaction. If anything, week 1 showed us that the Green Bay Packers might finally be ready to take that leap. They have talent, they have depth, and now they have confidence to compete with anyone. But what do you guys think? Are the Packers the real favorites of the NFC, or do you still trust a team like the Eagles, Cowboys, or the Detroit Lions more? Comment down below. I want to hear what you think. Let's Go Sports says, slow it down, baby. This is such an overreaction, says Let's Go Sports. They're good, but not that good. At least not yet. Give it a couple years and I think they'll get there. Unsure of Campbell and the Lions without Ben Johnson and Glenn. You are correct. Losing both coordinators in Detroit is a recipe for disaster. And I spoke on this time and time again. Time and time again, I said that the Detroit Lions are going to struggle the first 3 or 4 weeks, if not 5 weeks of the NFL season. We all did say that. But in the same breath, we did not expect a total domination of the Detroit Lions come week 1. We did not expect the Detroit Lions to bend over like a $2 chair from Dollar General. Guys, the Packers are the real deal. I thought they were going to make a deep playoff run as is. I'm not high on Micah Parsons, but adding him to this already pretty damn good defense is going to make Micah Parsons that much more better. Going to make that defense much more better. And when you can rely on a defense to win you ball games, the offense gets that much better because they're not pressuring. They're not forcing things. What is Jordan Love's biggest downfall? He forces the ball. He has that gunslinger mentality. He's been watching too much Brett Favre. I feel bad for Brett Favre, by the way, guys. The whole Parkinson's thing, that is tough. But I think they're there. But Alpha Rob says, you need to slow down, Buck. You need to get off that cough syrup. But they're not there yet, says Alpha Rob. Stop sleeping on them, baby. Stop sleeping on them. They coming. They here. Woo! Let's Go Sports says, don't think the Eagles will go back-to-back, though. Just too hard nowadays. Chiefs had the refs, honestly. Refs or not, they still did it, though. Refs or not, they still did it, baby. We got this time for a little bit of fact and a little bit of crap. Guys, as we start to wind down the show, we're not quite done yet. It's time for our final segment, fact or crap. Guys, here's the deal. I'm going to throw out some statements, some facts that are floating around the NFL world. And it's us up to decide if it's a solid fact or if it's a whole lot of crap. We're going to separate the truth from the nonsense, cut through the hype, and see what's really worth believing. If it's legit, we're all about it. If it's pure garbage, we're calling it out. So guys, grab your popcorn because it's about to get real. It's fact or is this a whole lot of crap? Let's find out. All right, guys, so it is time for fact or crap. And week 1 gave us the Colts team that looked, do I dare say it, like the glory days of Peyton Manning. And I'm just not saying that because Peyton was in the building to honor Jim Irsay. Behind Daniel Jones, guys, the Colts marched up and down the field on the Miami Dolphins. 7 drives, 7 scores, 0 punts, 0 turnovers. That's only the second time in franchise history that has ever happened. The other time being in 2003 playoff win over the Kansas City Chiefs with Peyton Manning at the helm. So, guys, here's a question. Fact or crap? The Colts offense is the real deal. Let that soak in. Daniel Jones at the helm, beating the crap out of the Miami Dolphins, 7 drives, 7 scores, 0 punts, 0 turnovers. Yes, that Daniel Jones that you all dug him. Guys, if you're calling this crap, or if you're calling this fact, the evidence is right there in week 1. Daniel Jones looked like a completely different quarterback than the one that we saw in the Giants. 22 for 29, 272 yards, threw a touchdown, and added 2 more scorings on quarterback sneaks. He got sacked once all game long, which is a miracle considering how often he hit the turf in New York. He just wasn't Deacon and Duncan either. He went 5 for 8 for 116 yards and a touchdown on throws for 10-plus yards in the air. Under pressure, 5 for 6, 74 yards and a touchdown. That's exactly what Indy has been missing the past couple years with Anthony Richardson as the backup and the backups. Steadily, reliable quarterback play. And how about those weapons? Rookie tight end Tyler Warren led the team with 7 catches, 76 yards, and looked like he's going to be a problem. Michael Pittman Jr. was solid. Jonathan Taylor gave him enough balance. When you combine Jones' efficiency with a young receiving core that finally has a quarterback who can deliver the ball, the offense looks dangerous. And don't forget, they did go 10 for 18 on 3rd and 4th downs. That is winning football, baby. Now, let's not get carried away. On the other side of the coin, it's called crap. You're saying this performance might have been more about the Miami Dolphins' incompetence than the Colts' brilliance. And I tend to agree. Miami's secondary is flat out bad. They lost Storm Duck early, but even with him, this wasn't a good group. They had training camp signees like Douglas, Jack Jones playing big roles. They're trying out rookies, Jason Marshall, Dante Trader. And it looked like the Miami Dolphins actually put in their 3rd stringers out there at one time. And while the Colts scored on every drive, context matters. They started 3 possessions at their own 40. They played with a lead the entire game. And when you're never forced into a negative game script, everything looks smoother. The real test will come when Daniel Jones has to play from behind and pass the rush can tee off. That's when those sack problems can resurface. And let's be real. Nobody's expecting the Colts to play a full season without punting. That was a perfect storm. A weak secondary, great field position, and the momentum from the jump. But I am going to go fact here, but with some caution. I think Daniel Jones is the perfect fit for Shane Steichen's system. Quick reads, play action, design quarterback runs around the goal line. It all suits his skill set. He doesn't need to be Superman like he was in New York. He just needs to be efficient, accurate, and keep the offense on schedule. And then that's exactly what we saw in week 1. The Dolphins looked lost. Yes, tougher defenses are coming, but I don't think this was a fluke. I think the Colts are built to put points on the board this year consistently. But what do you guys think? Fact or crap? Is the Colts offense the real deal, or was just a product of the Dolphins being a god awful? Thought your thoughts in the comment down below. Alpha Rob says crap. Buck, they're playing the worst team in the NFL. Buck is the Indianapolis Colts. Buck, Anthony Richardson is going to be there come week 4. I'm putting words in your mouth, but you saying crap. Let's Go Sports says crap. Jones still not that good. Dolphins are terrible. Let's Go Sports. Dolphins are terrible. Daniel Jones is an average quarterback. Do not get it twisted. But he fits the system perfect. Daniel Jones fits in the RPO nickel and dime system perfectly. Will Olsen says Daniel Jones is more like Andrew Luck, except Luck was better. I agree. I wish we would have got to see Andrew Luck play a full 15, 16 NFL seasons just to see what he could have done. I'd be curious. Let's Go Sports says, do you think Jones has talent around him he can succeed some? Saw it 2022. I think when the Giants made the playoffs, they were decent. So let's go back to 2022. Brian Daboll's first year as the Giants head coach. Everybody anticipated a rebuild season. Saquon Barkley was hurt all the freaking time. Finally, Saquon Barkley played a full season. Daniel Jones played a full season. Matter of fact, I don't even remember who the receiver was. Who was their lead receiver that year? Maybe a tight end for all I know. But either way, everybody expected him to be terrible. With a little bit of help, a little bit of balance, Daniel Jones led them to the playoffs. Brian Daboll won Rookie of the Year coach. Or Coach of the Year. So yes, with a little bit of talent around him, with him constant play calling, Daniel Jones can be the man. He doesn't. Let me rephrase. Let me rephrase that. Daniel Jones is a great game manager. He is not built to be the man like Josh Allen. Let's Go Sports says, still can't believe how high Jones was drafted out of Duke. Ridiculous. Was never number 6 good overall. Terrible reach by the Giants. No, a lot of that was just the combine hype. The pre-combine hype. Look how tall he is. Look how big his hands are. This kid's smart. It's just like Anthony Richardson. It was a reach. It was a big, big reach. But guys, it is time for Fact or Crap. And the statement today is this. The Jacksonville Jaguars made a mistake by trading away Tank Bigsby. Fact or crap? As you guys know, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Philadelphia Eagles made a trade for Tank Bigsby, a 2026 fifth and a 6th round pick. That is not much for a young running back with real production on his resume. Bigsby is only 24 years old. Last season, he rushed for 766 yards and 7 touchdowns. On top of that, he averaged 32.5 yards per kick return. That's real value on both offense and special teams. Now, in Jacksonville, he was stuck behind Travis Etienne. Etienne started this year strong with 143 yards on 16 carries in week 1. No doubt, Etienne is explosive. But he also has injuries in his past that is more of a big play or nothing type of back. Tank brings more consistency, more power between the tackles. Across his Jaguars career, Bigsby has 910 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns in 34 games despite limited touches. The Jaguars still moved on him from after drafting Tutton and like Allen. Both rookies have potential, but they're also unproven. Moving on from a steady young back for a couple late round picks is a risky gamble. But now Tank Bigsby joins the Eagles, where will he be back at the Saquon Barkley and A.J. Dillon while also helping on returns. And here's the thing. Philly knows how to use running backs. Bigsby may start as a returner, but if he gets opportunities in the offense, he can make the Jaguars look fools for letting him go. So, guys, I think this is a complete fact. The Jaguars made a huge mistake by trading away Tank Bigsby. In my eyes, I think he's better than Travis Etienne. He's more reliable, and the return that they got for him was just way too low. But what do you guys think? Will the Jacksonville Jaguars regret this trade, or was it the right move to stick with Etienne and the rookies? Comment down below. Let's hear your